right, everyone. There's a loop there, but we are ready to go here. Episode 198 of the MMOs.com podcast. Altai here, joined this week by
Remo.
And it is Classic WoW launch week.
All right, Altai, I'm going to ask you anyway. What have you been doing this week?
Well, yesterday we both got on and we waited in a queue all day, so that was fun. And today we managed to get on, and we are in the Barrens. Party like it's 2004. Here we
Classic WoW hype. So yeah, Altai and I have both been playing since service came up. We both queued up about 30 minutes before the servers officially went live. We sat in queue for about 2.5-3 hours on the server Incendius. In case anyone's curious, we were playing on Horde side, and a bunch of our buddies are on there as well. And we've been playing non-stop since then. I think Altai and I are both around level 11 right now. So we're not, we went pretty hard yesterday, but like we're not trying to be world's first or anything crazy like that. We're just playing for fun, reliving some nostalgia and having a great time with Classic WoW, and we're both level 11.
And it should be noted, we both have spent more time in queue than in game. Every time you log out, it's like a 3 hours to get back in, so making it rough out there.
Which is remarkable considering they've actually added numerous new servers. I know they added 4 new servers just for launch day, and during launch day they've opened up additional servers as well. And the server we're on, Incendius, I logged in this morning. It was a medium pop server in the morning. It's currently a high pop right now as of this podcast. And I had a 7,000 queue in the morning on a medium pop server. So the numbers are staggering. In fact, Classic WoW, I think, shattered all expectations because just the queue times are ridiculous. Everyone kind of posted like, come on, they should have known better. They should open more servers and whatnot. But I don't think Blizzard anticipated this level of demand, only because, Wall Street didn't expect this level of demand either. Because if you look at the Activision Blizzard stock price today, a down day in the stock markets, Activision Blizzard is up 5% on a day when EA is down marginally. Take-Two is basically up like a penny or two, a tiny amount. So where other stocks are flat to down, World of Warcraft's Activision Blizzard is up 5%, which doesn't sound like a lot, guys, but 5% for a company as large as Activision Blizzard is enormous. And it's up on a day when the market is down, showing you that the move is related to WoW Classic's launch. And 5% equals about $1.8 billion in added value to their market cap purely from WoW Classic's launch. Now, if WoW Classic continues to perform well, stock will do even better. If it staggers off, I'm sure it'll come down a bit from there. But it is remarkable to see the effect of WoW Classic on the company's stock.
And here's that little spike there if you want to... So this bump right here is the WoW bump. We call it the WoW bump, all right? So it's a technical analysis
Whoa,
here.
look at that bump. Wow.
Yeah.
Clearly some people expected this, but like when you see a stock react to a big launch, if it goes up quite a bit, it's showing you that the people that are, the market didn't anticipate this level of demand. It's a pretty cool gauge for any kind of new game launch. Oftentimes when a very hyped game launches, the stock will actually go down because it didn't perform as well as expected. So you can't be like, oh, of course it was hyped. You buy it before the hype and you make a ton of money. But you can never know because, again, I've seen so many times when a giant game launches, a company's stock price actually dives because initial sales figures, don't really surpass the market's expectations. So with WoW Classic, at least, on the financial side, so far it's beyond what they expected, which is good for WoW Classic fans. And we've seen on Twitch.tv 1.1 million people, watching the game on launch, which is pretty crazy.
And it's surprising how, again, I think you said it surpassed their expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's right because the server we chose, we actually chose Herod at first because the server list came out like weeks ago, and we ended up playing on this server, Incendius, or whatever it's called. This server was literally launched 2 hours before the game went live, and yet it managed to open at a high population. 15,000 people queued. So I don't think they could have really anticipated how popular it would be. And look, you have to balance things on Blizzard's end too. People are complaining, why didn't they open more servers? Because they know the player base will shrink from here. It doesn't mean it's going to fail or anything. I think it's going to be a big success, but there's always that drop down after the first week. So they didn't want to go overboard with number of servers, which I think is a smart play. So no, I don't really fault them. Just get in line, get in the queue, get on, and go AFK like I did.
Altai, you just mentioned get in queue, all right? And as I was playing Classic WoW, there's a few things I noticed right away that people were actually getting in queue. So Altai, take a look at these images I'm sharing with you on Discord. Share it to the stream because, at least on the Horde side on Incendius, we've seen lines forming, and I'm sure you've seen posts on RMRPG and Reddit for queues being formed for a lot of quests in the game. So essentially, there are quests in the game with you have to kill one enemy or one NPC spawns. You got to right click on it, pick up an item off the floor. It disappears and it'll respawn again in like 10 seconds. So people are actually forming queues for these kinds of quests in the game, which is remarkable because like the incentive to skip to the front of the line is huge. But for the most part, a lot of these queues, at least in the faster respawning like items, were respected. Most people did not cut in line, though there were some queues for like killing a boss or one NPC that spawns once every 5 minutes. Those queues were never respected, but a lot of the item queues for the quests were respected. So it was pretty cool to see people line up, and respecting the queue to do these these kind of quests.
Yeah, it was remarkable, and it should be noted that this wasn't always the case. Like you said, it worked with the smaller cooldowns, like shorter cooldowns. But there was one. I remember there was one named NPC we had to kill, and instead of waiting in line, people were just bunched up right where he spawns, and everybody was clicking 11111, which is like the auto attack key by default.
And you're referring to Zalzane.
Zalzane on the Echo Islands was a slow spawn that unfortunately there were no rules of waiting in line. In fact, it was just a free for all. I got lucky. Maybe after 10 minutes, I tagged him. I got the kill, got out of there. But there were people there, I think, for hours just trying to tag that one mob.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about our actual experience with Vanilla WoW, because I think this is important, and it kind of reflects our thinking on MMORPGs in general. Because I had a bit of an emotional connection with Classic WoW as I was playing. Honestly, I wasn't as hyped for it as a lot of my friends were, but as I played it, there was a lot to actually really like about Classic WoW. And as I played it, I really appreciated things that, like, I just haven't seen in modern MMORPGs today. And one of the biggest things is the pacing of the game. For so long, for basically since we made MMOs.com now years ago, like every new MMORPG we played, the leveling experience never felt fun or interesting or engaging or like anything but like eye-rolly and boring and lame. But I actually really, so far at least, I am enjoying the leveling experience in Classic WoW, because I think the pacing is actually pretty interesting. You aren't blazing past levels. I think Altai have about 10 hours played in game and only level 11. Each level takes a little bit of time to get through. As you're progressing through the zones, you're kind of exploring every part of the zone. Yep. You're doing a ton of quests, and the quests don't feel like just they take a little while to complete. Like everything's just a little bit slower paced, and it lets you appreciate the zones and the pacing of the game. And it reminds me when we were playing Revelation Online, for example, we would click next. Our character would auto walk to the next quest zone. Like you had no player input when you're playing Revelation Online whatsoever. And you look at even Estelia or any of these Korean MMORPGs, you spend no significant amount of time in any single zone. You just blaze through it with no sense of like accomplishment. Like when I'm playing a Korean MMORPG, you can literally insert any game. It just feels like until I get to max level, nothing matters. And I'm never looking forward to that new piece of gear. Like, oh, you can play this quest in Estelia, you got a better weapon. Who cares? I feel no impact on my new weapons, my armor, my talents. In fact, in a lot of Korean MMORPGs, like even Maple Story to a degree, like today at least, not old Maple Story, current Maple Story, post Big Bang, like I won't even spend my skill points. Like I level about 8 times because like what's the point, right? But in Vanilla WoW, every time I level up, I spend my skill, my talent point. I look forward to getting new weapons. I actually bought a level 5 weapon. All right, people are actually buying and selling level 5 weapons that are green because in relation to your starting gray weapon, it's a huge improvement. I bought like an axe of boar, the axe of strength of the boar or something. It's like 7 DPS versus my 3 DPS starting weapon. I paid some guy 10 silver for it because it was a meaningful upgrade. Everything feels like a meaningful upgrade in terms of my gear improvement. I can look forward to new gear. I can look forward to getting new abilities later on because the game is paced in such a way that every incremental improvement feels useful. It feels like I'm getting something out of it. When I'm playing, even when I'm leveling Final Fantasy 14, the only part of Final Fantasy 14's leveling experience that made it like tolerable for me was at least the story. I was listening and putting myself in the story. But the actual mechanics of doing the gameplay and the leveling was awfully boring in Final Fantasy 14. It's awful in so many games. And I think the formula for Classic WoW isn't really magical. What makes Classic WoW work for me at least, and I think for Altai as well, he'll correct me if I'm wrong for him, is I think we humans have a natural tick to want to fill up these bars. We want to level up. We want to fill up that bar and get a little bit stronger. That basic formula, right, is perfect. But newer games have ramped up the dopamine levels to an insane level where you're leveling like 5 times every hour. That's insane. You should level up like 10 times an hour. You should have to at least work for it a little bit. Like when you just keep throwing levels at you. And on mobile games, it's even worse. On mobile games, they're just throwing so much shit at you. I don't understand like who that works on. Like when I play a mobile game, I'm leveling up 10 times an hour, and all these things are flashing in my face. Like, oh, you got this extra rare, super rare, all these weapons. it means nothing. I don't understand. Maybe I'm just an old boomer. But like when they throw all this shit at me and I'm getting all these perks, it doesn't mean anything. I have to be drip fed my progression at a reasonable, gentlemanly level, and I think that's what makes Classic WoW work for me. And I think that's why it's doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with.
Quite a rant.
I agree with everything you said. I think the fact that things go quickly, though, the problem with that is not just information overload, which is a big deal. I agree, but more importantly, I think it doesn't give us a sense of space. We need in our brains, we need to map out a region, right, to appreciate it and to realize where we are. And when you go too quickly and everything is auto walk, you don't know where everything is in relation to everything else. Like that first zone you started in Horde, Durator, right? I know where every cave is now. Like, okay, that one is in the north, this one's in the south. But I'm playing like Revelation or something. I don't know where anything is in relation to the main town. Did I go north? Did I go south? I don't really remember because I clicked the auto move, and it just does it by itself. So I just end up there. I don't know. Am I like north of here? Am I on a different continent? Did I teleport here? I have no clue. Everything is too disconnected. So it's amazing that it's all connected here. You have time to appreciate it and learn it, and it kind of gets embedded in your mind as an actual geographic place rather than just like a name.
The pacing is just, I think, remarkable. Again, it's just they give you the dopamine in the perfect amounts where you're not overwhelmed. It's just information overload, or just trying to throw so much stuff at you. Like again, I look forward to be able to get new weapons and new abilities in World of Warcraft as I'm playing. I never had that feeling when I'm leveling in Revelation or Maple Story or so many other MMORPGs. So Maple Story pre-Big Bang, I did have that feeling. I think the pacing was really good in that game where you look forward to every single level. It's remarkable that like it seems like the MMORPG formula has changed so much where you kind of have those things to look forward to in the late game. Like in Final Fantasy 14, I look forward to getting my item level 475 weapon. I did my resets actually just when the servers came up. I didn't get my weapon, which kind of sucks, but I'm looking forward to getting my weapon. There are things I look forward to in Final Fantasy 14, but I never looked forward to any of that stuff as I leveled. And what I left Asmongold's as I was grinding in Vanilla WoW, I was listening to some Asmongold as well, and he actually made a comment like when he was grinding Murlocs for like hours, he made a comment like, "This is what I really enjoy doing. I can just relax and kill these Murlocs, and that's it." Like he could just turn his brain off and kill some Murlocs, and I think deep down, that's what we're all missing in our lives. We all want to just turn our brains off and kill some Murlocs, and I think it's going to elevate all of us into a better place if we could just kill Murlocs with our brains turned off.
Kind of like IRL fishing, right? You want to relax.
Yeah.
Get a drink, sit back.
And you just can't do that in modern. It's just remarkable that so many games have gone to a point where you just can't do that anymore. Where you have no point to relax and do something. We played Revelation for like hours. Like on launch day, we played for like 5 hours at least. And at no point did we stop to actually do anything. Yeah. You were constantly going from point A to point B to point C, and you were killing these enemies, and none of it felt like it mattered. Every time I got a new piece of gear, I'm like, why not? The game is like, you got gear, auto-equipped. So all my gear was auto-equipped. I felt no level of progression in the game whatsoever. And you never had to progress. Like in Vanilla WoW, if I kill a level 12 mob and I don't just sit for a second, or if I pull 2 level 12 mobs, I'm gonna die. And that's never the case in any other like modern MMORPG, where it's literally face roll tier. And it's not like that. I mean, I'm not saying the grind is difficult in Vanilla WoW. It's not. It just takes a while. But you not be able to pull 2 enemies at once and risking death, it lets you like the fear of death, the possibility of dying when you pull 2 enemies. It makes you want to get that better gear. It makes you want to be stronger. There's nothing in Final Fantasy 14, at least while you're leveling, that makes you like want to get better gear. In fact, when I played 14 to max level, at no point in the story did I stop and like grind better gear, go to the auction house and buy better gear, because it didn't matter. I was wearing the trashiest loot and I wouldn't even bother upgrading it because it didn't matter. And it's like that in any game where you level up very quickly now, which is unfortunately too many MMORPGs. Now all these problems are generally fixed in the late game, but it's just bizarre to me that they made the early experience so brain dead and frustrating, and there's nothing to look forward to.
I made one oops when I was playing Classic. So I was running through the Barrens, and there was like a camp of monsters that were like, red to me. Like they were like way higher level than me, like level 17. I'm like level 10. And you know what I did? I put on my shield as priest, and I ran right through them, thinking I'd be fine because they would just go back after 3 seconds, right? Because in retail WoW, that's what happens, right? I can just run through anything as my priest. Like it doesn't matter what level they are. I just run right through the mobs. It's fine. I tried it here. They hit me once. They slowed me down. Then the other 2 hit me once, and I was dead. So. Again, you have to navigate the world because there are, obstacles in the way, finally. And I think that's why I think a lot of naysayers are wrong. I think a lot of people in chat and on Reddit and stuff have been saying It's all nostalgia. It's gonna all drop away. It's gonna be a small part. I think it's gonna be more like old school RuneScape, where this is gonna be equal in size at least to the retail game, if not bigger.
If it's bigger, that'd be a huge, huge story because again, it's the whole you think you do but you don't. You know. Now it really just turned to you want to but you can't because of the queues. But like, it is truly amazing. Somebody actually in the chat, Fading Dragon, made a comment which I thought was pretty funny. He says in Final Fantasy 14, I don't even move out of the red, meaning when there's giant red circles on top of him when he's playing the game, he doesn't even bother moving out of them because it doesn't matter. Like in fact, in Final Fantasy 14, I didn't even realize what the stack markers were, the AoE markers, what they meant. So I would also just not move out of the way for AoE markers because it didn't matter. I could just tank all the AoE hits as a caster. Nothing mattered. So at no point did I even try to get out of the way for those abilities. But WoW, I'm obviously trying to be careful to pull one enemy at a time, and just I'm having fun. I'm having fun leveling when in so few games you can actually say that. And I think the formula for WoW isn't like magical. All they did was get the pacing right, and the UI and the gameplay just feels smooth. The balance and stuff doesn't really matter that much. But what made WoW really successful too early on, I think, is it's the game ran really well. It runs buttery smooth. And when I played it back in beta in like 2004, I remember even back then, when I was playing Ultima Online, I thought the gameplay itself, like the actual like just killing enemies, wasn't really great. But I played Ultima Online, I played EverQuest. It ran way better than EverQuest, but I liked Ultima Online more because there was more stuff to do in the game. But what WoW did really well is it felt really smooth. It felt super fluid. And compare that to like a game like Bless Online or Revelation Online, which just feel unbelievably janky and shit. You know, any Unreal Engine 3 powered MMORPG just feels like ass. You know, and those little things grind that just hurt the experience a lot more than you even realize. You know, when you're playing, even if you enjoy the core gameplay of Bless, the game dropping like 20 FPS all the time, just like it just makes it unplayable in my eyes and like kind of pushes you away from it. WoW just runs buttery smooth, and I think that really helped the game succeed as well early on.
It does run smooth. It did run smooth at the time, and I actually want to correct one thing. A lot of people online are saying that classic WoW was difficult. I don't think that's true. I think it requires you to pay attention. Right? That's not to say it's difficult. Anybody can get to 60 in WoW. Anybody can raid in classic WoW because the boss mechanics were way, way, way simpler than what's available today, even in retail or Final Fantasy. There's no, there's no bullet hell mode where you have to dodge these things. It's basically every single boss in classic is a tank and spank. You just
tank and spank and gear check.
Yeah, so you just stand there and do one move over and over again. If you're DPS, if you're the tank, you stand there and tank. If you're the healer, you just heal, and that's basically it. Every boss is like that. So
so the mechanics aren't difficult.
The thing is, it just requires you to be present. And a lot of these current games don't even require that. You just click to go to the next quest. You don't have to pay attention at all. You can't die, you can't lose. You there's no risk, there's no reward, there's nothing. So
until of course you get the late game, and this problem I think is clearly in the early aspect of the game. You played retail WoW as well, right before classic WoW launched. Yeah. Just while you're killing time, you did some mythic raids as well. Clearly you can die over there. I mean, you said only what 60 guilds or something cleared. The latest
Lady Ashara, Queen Ashara.
Ashara, yeah. So clearly that stuff requires presence of mind and being there. They took all that away from the early experience, whereas vanilla WoW kind of kept that throughout the entire game.
Right, but yeah. So the mythic raids do require. They're challenging. Not everyone can do that. That's I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the regular gameplay. Again, I don't actually want it to be difficult, right? Because there has to be a balance between popularity and challenge, right? You can't just make a game for the hardcore people. I don't think that works. So you don't have to make the game hard, but just make it so the guy has to pay attention. I don't think that's too much to ask. People are saying, well, there's no market for a difficult game. I think there is a market for a game that just requires you to actually pay attention. Like that's not a very high bar.
And it's so much more rewarding. When I get that piece of gear in WoW, when I get a gear upgrade, it feels good. It really does. When I get a gear upgrade in Bless or in Arcade or in so many random games, it doesn't really feel good because I don't need it. I can kill things plenty without it. It just feels like, all right, maybe I can kill a little bit faster, but it doesn't feel good to get a gear upgrade the way it does in Classic. Indeed.
Well, so you got kicked off before we got online. And now just to relog, there's a 3-hour queue, right?
Yeah, I put my queue screenshot earlier. I'm currently at 7,958 in queue to get onto Incendius. So I think it'll take me at least 2.5 hours from here to get on. You said it'd be a little sooner, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hopefully within the week, these kind of queues kind of go away. We'll see. But so what are your long-term predictions for Classic WoW?
I'm optimistic. I think we're going to lose some players that are just jumped in for the hype, that because they saw their favorite streamers play, they saw everyone talking about their playing, and then they'll drop off a bit. I think the queues will all be fixed within a week. I think the queues will be largely gone on, except maybe the busiest of the busy servers. I think it'll be successful though. I think there is a market for this, and I think they have a good content schedule in terms of rolling out, Dire Maul, the other, 40-man raids and stuff. There's a good content schedule for it, but I'm curious what they're going to do at the end of vanilla. I mean, are they going to go to the Burning Crusade? Are they going to develop new content? They haven't said anything yet. They still going to consult with players and see what the community wants. I'm hoping they go along with the OSRS route, where basically developers will throw suggestions and basically allow players to vote on it and go with what works. That way they consult the players. They give the developers get their own ideas and to see if players approve, and they'll move on from there. So there's a lot of options. There's a lot of places they can take it. I'm optimistic though on Classic WoW being very successful. I mean, I don't know if it'll match retail years from now. Like a year from now, I'm not sure if it'll be the same amount as retail, but I think it's an enormous boost to the game subscribers. And I think for sure we'll get an official update from Blizzard on how well Classic is doing, only because it's doing so well. I don't think Blizzard wants to talk about subscription numbers, but Blizzard wants to brag whenever they can. Any publicly traded company, they love bragging. If Blizzard could say we have X number of players that logged in on day one, they're going to say it because it's going to boost their stock price. And when that happens, their executives get fatter bonuses and their stock is worth more. So any chance a big company can have to release impressive numbers, they will. The only reason they stopped reporting official subscription numbers was the numbers were going down. Nobody wants to talk about numbers going down. They want to talk about numbers going up. So I think because Classic WoW is doing so well, we're going to get some official number, some kind of update on its popularity soon. And I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, and just to finally wrap up there, yesterday the game WoW hit 1.2 million viewers on Twitch, which puts it about equal to the Dota TI peak. And I think the all-time high was like 1.3 for Fortnite. So this was, it was a big launch, very successful. People sat through those queues. There definitely is demand here. And personally, I hope they do a fork where they add new content in a different direction. So not even
that
BC.
Would be really cool.
I don't even want to see BC. I just want to go a different direction. It can kind of incorporate some stuff from, past expansions, but I want a different route, just like OSRS. But we'll see. They're going to consult the community, like you said, and we'll see where people want it to go.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we'll be playing Classic WoW probably for the rest of the week ourselves, and all our buddies are all playing as well. And I hope to see people watching the stream play as well if they want to. If they haven't decided to play yet. If you do decide to play, hop on Incendius. We're playing on Horde. You can play on either. Play Alliance and Kill Us. That works as well. And having fun.
On a sadder note now, so that's a big success for Activision Blizzard. We've had some bad news. We had some casualties on the field of the MMO genre.
What happened?
Well, Peria Chronicles was finally canceled by Nexon. So
we had a
little bit of a false hope. I remember, like about maybe 6 months, a year ago, they said, well, it wasn't canceled. JK, I know it's been 6 years, but it's not canceled. We're still working on it. We got kind of hyped, but then they said, nope, JK, it's gone.
Actually, it was a bit more than just what you just said, Altai, because they had their first ever closed beta on May 9th, 2019. So they actually let players into the game. So that went from the game being really hype and interesting and mystical to hey, we're at the point where we're gonna let you guys play the game. And after that announcement, I was kind of hyped for the game too because we finally have something concrete, something playable. But literally 2 months after that, they've announced now, as reported by InVen, that the game is shutting down. Nexon has pulled the plug. They spent approximately $8.2 million developing the game, and it just didn't meet player expectations. And they just couldn't make it work, which is unfortunate.
First of all, 8.2 million over 6 years, I think is really cheap. I'm surprised they're so efficient over there in Korea, but there you go.
But what was hyped by this one too is we've talked for a long time. They tried to do something a little bit different. I mean, if you looked at their original discussion of what Peria Chronicles was, in an interview they said Peria Chronicles compares itself to Minecraft, and more so than anything else because they pushed player-created content, whether it's instances and structures and stuff. So other players are creating the content in the game, and they were still calling it an MMORPG. So it was an MMORPG more akin to Minecraft than a traditional MMORPG, which sounds really cool because again, they're doing something different with MMORPGs, not just another theme park nonsense. So that's what got us really excited and what made us follow Peria Chronicles for years now. But despite all that, it's donezo. It's dead. Rest in pepperoni.
A few people are asking why this happened, why now. The best answer I have for that is Nexon tried to sell itself a few months ago. We covered it here. But no, they actually couldn't find a buyer, which is surprising. At least a buyer willing to pay the price they wanted. So they decided not to sell themselves at a lower price. And instead now they're kind of consolidating studios. And I suspect there's going to be more heads to roll. So I don't think this will be the first project canceled, either in development or even a live service. I think there's going to be more casualties at Nexon.
Plus, I mean, they tried to make something ambitious, and when players tried it, the feedback they got was like, not what they expected. So it just did. People just didn't like the game as well. I mean, if they could make a game that people like, I don't think the game would have been canceled. But the studio behind it, I think, was a little too ambitious for their own capabilities. They just couldn't make the vision they wanted, and what they created clearly didn't, match with their vision. And that's why the game, they pulled the plug on it. I mean, if there was any kind of chance of success here, they would have kept making it. But the game is done.
So just wild speculation here. No, we have no concrete facts. Just nonsense here. Omar, do you think any other live games by Nexon in the West are under threat? Like Maple Story 2.
Sure.
I say Maple Story 2 is under threat here.
Not yet. It is clearly underperforming. I'll give you that. I mean, I don't think they're gonna pull the plug on it just yet, but it definitely didn't meet their expectations. And we've seen Rise of Icarus on the Nexon launcher. It got moved over to it's getting moved from Nexon over to Valve.
Yep.
Which, if you know, Valve is like some global publisher. I think they're affiliated with Nexon. I think Nexon might own a piece of them or something. But they basically take all the reject games and they relaunch them. They're almost like the modern day newer version of Suba games, but with a little bit more modern games. They published Atlantica, which was once published directly through Nexon themselves, and even Combat Arms. They published Combat Arms, Atlantica, and now they're gonna be publishing Rise of Icarus as well. So all these old Nexon games, along with a few other oddballs. Luminary Rise of the Gunzu was like a 2005 old as fuck game. They're publishing as well.
So here's some stats for Maple Story 2. We got this is only the Steam numbers again. The game is available on their own launcher, so it's not totally accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But we have an all-time peak of 42,000, and now we're down to 660.
Yeah, not good.
And it's not an old game. It hasn't been up for even a year on Steam yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a quick downfall here.
I got one for you, Altai. Vindictus, I think, is on the chopping block.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
the player-based numbers are not good. Not in the West. Look at the player. If you look at Steam charts, obviously, again, not perfect comparison because Vindictus is available through Nexon's own launcher. On Steam charts, it averages 236 players online.
But here's the thing: it was never big on Steam. If you look at the all-time peak,
it peaked at 3,000.
That's not. So it's only down what 90%. I mean, look at Maple Story 2. That's down like, oh my goodness, like 99%.
I think Mabinogi as well. I mean, I think Mabinogi's got a very core audience that's very loyal to the game. That they spend a lot of money in the game. I think the average revenue per Mabinogi user is quite high because it is a unique game and it's got a very loyal hardcore player base. But the player base numbers themselves are not high. It's a unique game, so it's those are my two estimates. Mabinogi and Vindictus. I think Vindictus will probably get axed first here in the West.
I think so that's a good contrast. So you're betting your horse on Vindictus. My horse is Maple Story 2, and we'll see how it goes.
I think they still see some kind of there's a possibility for a turnaround there. I don't think they've given up on Maple Story 2 yet.
We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's a good point. One more thing. I don't know why Nexon is even in the West.
Nexon's all their games here have been a disaster for the most part for the company, except Maple Story 1.
Even with Maple Story 1, Nexon America has been losing money every single year since they got established.
Yeah.
And their cumulative losses, I mean, even though they make money now, it's too late. Like, they've lost billions in America. I don't know why they keep trying. They should stick to mobile games here. Make them in Korea and just, translate them. That's fine.
So show off this chart again. You prepared this chart in late 2017, or in early 2017, so it's a little dated now. But look at Nexon America's revenues and operating income for their U.S. division, which is remarkable. I don't think anyone else besides you actually compiled this data for anyone in the West. I find it pretty interesting.
I should update it. Yeah, it's been like 2 years, but I suspect another 2 years of losses. But so, as you can see, they've lost money. Actually, 2010, I guess, is the year they came out. At least they went public in 2010. They had a slight operating income, but since then it's been straight down.
So in looks like 2016, they had 85 million in top line revenue and 43 million in losses. That's insane. So for every like $2 they make, they have $1 in losses, which is insane. So Nexon America has been bleeding money. Since then, of course, Nexon has acquired a few mobile studios in the West, and those games might be marginally profitable to make these numbers look a little bit better. But I think Nexon's PC publishing arm and the development arm here in the West has just been bleeding money. The only game that has a chance, I think, is Maple Story 1, because Maple Story 1 is still popular. Well, I think the reason they're losing money, and you see this chart kind of diverge in 2011, is they're taking the profits from Maple Story 1 in the West and rolling it out into trying to make all these other games that nobody wants to play. That just never really took off in the West.
Yeah, agreed. And like you said, I think the mobile division has a chance. They bought a Western studio. I think they're the ones who make I think it's called Stories. If anyone's heard of this, it's like these episodic. I don't even know what they call them. Like I guess visual novels, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
see
those are
weird
doing
ads for
okay.
those. A lot of weird ads for
There's
those.
a lot of weird ads.
Mhm.
So they have some chance with those.
Listen, somebody in the chat mentioned it too. I think we said it before too. I think they're going to make a MapleStory 1 classic server. If they, now that WoW Classic is doing well, OSRS is doing really well. We've seen progression servers for EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, and Ragnarok Online do really well as well. So because of that, I mean, they've actually kind of already done their lab servers on MapleStory 1. So they've tested the waters on different server rule sets. So I think they're playing with the idea, and I think we will get a classic server for MapleStory. I think because the classic MapleStory experience is actually so radically different than the modern experience that it really does warrant having its own separate server. The same way classic WoW is actually so radically different than retail WoW.
That's a good.
Yeah,
If they made a classic MapleStory server, I would play on it on day one.
yeah,
It'd be
me
amazing.
too. Yeah, again, we've had a few people in the chat saying I play on it too. That'd be amazing. Yeah, it's such a different game than post Big Bang. I mean, obviously there's some changes before Big Bang as well, but like that was really the point in MapleStory's development where it changed so drastically with Big Bang, where they made leveling so much easier. And there are private servers for MapleStory that there are thousands of players online. You know, there are private servers for MapleStory 1 that are more popular than MapleStory 2 on Steam. You know, like people do want to play that classic experience.
Yeah, and someone did mention that they are merging servers for MapleStory 1, but so they're going to go down to 5 servers after the merge. But I don't think that really says anything about classic, plus or minus. You know, they would be 2 separate servers either way. So it wouldn't really. I don't think that really hints at whether or not classic is on the way or not.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it. I think MapleStory on a classic server would be really interesting and something I would definitely play. Again, there was something remarkably chill about just grinding in MapleStory, and that's one of the reasons I still like the even retail MapleStory. Right, like the early experience is actually so confusing and kind of like memey, where like you're just teleporting, or like, you're changing environments so often. Because when you're playing it during the burning event, you don't stay in any one spot for more than like an hour because you're always changing locations. You know, once you get like level 150, leveling really slows down, and then you get like then you feel like at least like a classic experience where things are going nice and slow. And even then, obviously, it's fast compared to classic days. But that's what MapleStory is really fun. You can just turn your brain off and just grind. That's what we all want to do inside. We want to turn our brains off and grind.
Indeed. And
Go ahead.
No.
I was gonna take us to a fun story,
Yeah.
but if you got one more thing for this,
Oh, one more thing. Nexon is working on a mobile version, or working with Tree of Savior for a mobile version. Have you heard of this somewhere? It's called Spirit Wish,
ooh,
and it looks pretty similar to
True Savior.
Tree of Savior. So you can take a look here. I think this game is actually out on Android. I tried to download it on my iPhone, but it doesn't work. So I obviously the iPhone version is not out yet. But I think it is an official, cooperation with the Tree of Savior people. So, but I think the gimmick here is you control 3 characters at once. So you don't even have to party with anyone. You can have your tank, your healer, and your DPS all.
I see a giant auto button. You see the auto button outside? It's so big. On my
Of
side.
course, you need the auto button.
I don't get it. The only like the PC MMORPG. It reminded me of when you said you control 3 people. The Sword of the New World
Yep.
or Granada Espada on the PC. That was kind of autoplay too, but only by virtue of like when enemies came near you and attacked you, you would fight back. So you just put your army of dudes in Sword of the New World, Granada Espada, like in a dungeon, and you just constantly keep killing enemies, which is kind of cool. But the whole game is gonna be autoplay here, so that autoplay has kind of turned me off from it. But I like the visuals.
Have you
It looks
played
nice. I've never played
It's
this.
called Spirit Wish.
This looks a lot like this. Actually, looks like the interface and the gameplay looks a bit like what's it? Grand Chase Mobile, which launched like earlier this year. I'm getting some Grand Chase Mobile vibes from this. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, I mean, I actually wanted to, I was taking a dump actually, which is when I download my mobile games. And I was like, I saw an ad for this. I was like, oh, I'll download this. Nope, doesn't exist on this app store. So sadly, iPhone users, we can't play it just yet.
I'm sure it'll come out. It's probably in beta or something right now.
Yeah.
I got a good game for you to play on the Pooper all time. You got to try Perfect World Mobile. We mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but it is officially out in Europe and North America now, in English.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it a try, but he made like over $100 million in like the first month in China, something ridiculous, These mobile games just mint money in China. But I plan on giving it a try on my mobile device, but I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting an autoplay Chinese pay-to-win game. That's my expectations.
Any gameplay videos?
The videos they released were always kind of like these weird cutscene videos. But if you
Yeah,
search
with
this-
no interface, right?
Yeah, Perfect World Mobile gameplay. You'll find something if you search on YouTube.
And I know this game is still doing really well on the
China.
charts. Yeah. Okay, just click this random one, see what we get here.
I'm
All
getting
right.
some Lineage 2 Revolution vibes from the world map
Yes,
at least.
it looks very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a really crowded field. Like these games are so indistinguishable from one another. If you thought the cloning issue was a problem with PC MMORPGs, back in let's say 2010, 2011, 12, there were so many games coming out that look so similar. The mobile field is so much more cloney and saturated. These games are so identical. There's like a new one coming out every week or day. It's crazy.
All right, Altai, I got a game for you. I got a Kickstarter game for you, Altai.
A Kickstarter, my favorite. Let's see it.
This is actually one of the most bizarre Kickstarters I've seen. Okay, there's a lot wrong with this. All right, it's really weird. And just take a look. It's called Wheelcraft Heroes.
Wheelcraft. All right, let's see what we got here.
Okay, there's some. This is the first thing I saw when I looked at this video and I saw the art, and I read this text. So look at this text, Altai. Wheelcraft Heroes, next gen, idle MMORPG, and turn-based tactical combat in real time, player versus player, with esport and streaming built-in. What does that mean? Listen, it's an idle MMORPG with turn-based combat. Oh, by the way, it's also real-time combat, turn-based and real-time, with esport and streaming built-in. What the heck are they talking about?
Okay, here's what they did. They went to Google Trends. They put in like video game related terms. Okay.
Yeah.
These were the top 10 terms that came up when they searched for video games. We got esports, player versus player, real time, turn-based. MMORPG, idle game.
This is a scam. I'm calling it right now because look at this gameplay. Look at this video, right? First of all, like, are you getting Neopets vibes? Look at like 35 seconds. You see this wheel spinning, and you
Neopets. I'm getting like fourth grade.
Some Chinese spyware nonsense autoplay games.
Art.
Yeah,
like, this is like some project for like a fourth grader.
Yeah, look at the gameplay at like 2 minutes, right? This like autoplay gameplay. This is like identical to so many garbage Chinese mobile games, right? And it's so funny because the official Wheelcraft studio, right, on their about section, it says they're based in Denmark. Bullshit. It's a Chinese studio, 100%. They are not based in Denmark, all right? Arthur Mortensen, who's the fake name they put on here, this ain't a real person. This is 100% Chinese nonsense game. They're just lying.
This looks like a beta for like the original Adventure Quest. Like it's so amateur hour.
Yes, that's a really good example. It kind of reminds you of Adventure Quest. There's no way this is by a Danish studio either. It's just not. Look at the second video, right? Which is the Wheelcraft Universe is Born on the bottom. You see that? The Wheelcraft Universe is Born in the world map. Don't tell me that world map doesn't look like Neopets.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Hit play over that. I'm getting some serious Neopets vibes.
I like the 7-second world overlay here.
Yeah, this is nonsense. This is most certainly like some bullshit. They just tried to put up all the buzzwords like you said on Google and just slap it all together. It makes no kind of sense. The description just doesn't make sense.
More importantly now, how much money can I give them? What is the maximum amount I can donate to them here? Let's see. We got to keep scrolling, guys. There's a lot here. Oh, here we go. All gone. Never mind that one. This one.
Also,
right.
you can tell from the just the text, right? It's obviously not a native English speaker, and they learn English in Denmark, right? A Danish person can write in better English than this. It's very clearly a Chinese developed game, and they figured, hey, if we put Denmark in there, people are gonna give us money on Kickstarter because nobody likes to give money to Chinese people because we're all make shitty games. They thought by putting Denmark in. And I know they're bullshit. Look at their homepage, Altai. Look at their homepage.
Let's see here. Early access.
So my favorite part is they have a description of the game again, right? Combining two worlds, our game with active streaming and esport. We make it into something beautiful and refreshing. It's all broken English.
This must be a troll. Look at the last line here.
I love the last line. You just got Wheelcrafted.
You guys can't really see it because I gotta minimize my screen here.
Yeah, it's hilarious. That's my favorite part.
So at the bottom of their homepage, it says, "You just got Wheelcrafted." Smiley face.
Smiley face.
I think they're trolling, and they know it's kind of a scam.
You just got Wheelcrafted, smiley face. I just love it. This is like the ultimate text. I'm putting in Twitch chat as well. Like, they put the little smiley at the end.
You just got Wheelcrafted, son.
All right, so the game will perform with total random item generator and make loot experience rewarding for all levels. There's also designed in crystal crisp graphics, which supported from small mobile screens to tested 4K screens with 144 hertz frame rates that look hot as hell. This is such nonsense.
Yeah, this is not real.
I don't think it's made by some guy in Denmark either. I'm getting some Chinese vibes from it. That's the feeling I'm getting. Guys, it's hot as hell. I love seeing these Kickstarter games, but they've raised $1,000 somehow, But they will not get their full amount for sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah, this is all I don't know. Kickstarter is always entertaining. You know, if you're ever bored one day, just search MMORPG on Kickstarter and hope that you can find some quality materials. So look, scroll down. I'll type to the main Kickstarter page. Control F Shaman. The Shaman not alone. Totem with feelings. What is this picture? You got some Tauren from World of Warcraft. The Tauren Shaman, and the Shaman is not alone. Totems with feelings. What does that mean? Totems with feelings. And the text under the image is cute totems.
Those are pretty cute totems, you gotta admit.
Those are cute as hell totems, boys.
Oh my god.
I don't know. This is some quality memes. And this is their text, like, about us. We are 5 on a talented team with Wheelcraft Studio located in Denmark that have been working together for 2 years. They got Arthur. Idea and creative director. Of course, there's no last names, guys. He's just Arthur. The guy who made it, he's just Arthur. That's it. He goes by Arthur. He came from background with over 20 years as gamer from Warcraft 2 and Ultima Online. This is such like broken. This is nonsense. At least
this is a good giveaway, by the way. I recall 2 weeks ago we talked about another Kickstarter, that VR one, and they did the same thing where they listed their 5 freelancers, like the artist, the composer, and they used first names only. Because if they gave the full name, you could look these people up and realize they're just Fiverr. People on Fiverr doing gig work, right, for like $10. These aren't like, there's not a core team here. This is just 5 dudes.
Yes, this is hilarious. And what's funny is like none of those core people, none of the people on their team, right? Arthur and stuff. It's just silly. I think this is nonsense.
Yeah, definitely. This one is even actually more nonsense than the other one, because at least the other one had that chick who was like a Google engineer, right?
Yeah, the VR one, Zenith, I think raised like a good amount of money, but yeah, I'm not optimistic on that either. But at least they have people with some programming experience. But yeah, this is quite the meme though.
Kickstarter, it's a gift that keeps on giving, you know. All right.
And these people are bullshit because you just be able to search their names like you said. I googled Arthur Mortensen, which is the guy in Denmark apparently, but literally. Arthur Mortensen has no Facebook, no Twitter, doesn't exist on the internet with that name. I guess he's been in incognito mode forever and never used his name on any website to show up. They just made that up.
Look, I know you guys are probably so indoctrinated not to give any money to Kickstarter now because you inoculated, I should say, right? Because we kind of warned you guys, inoculated. But if you do decide to give money to Kickstarter, or people who do, at least tell them this: look up the people on LinkedIn. If someone does not have a LinkedIn where you can look at their history, in the industry. Just don't trust them because these things are, the internet is there for us to be transparent, right? If these people are scamming you, they're not going to use real names. And if they use their real names and they have real histories or real, industry experience, it'll come up. If it doesn't, that's a big red flag.
That's a good rule of thumb. I think just by doing that, you can weed out a lot of the nonsense. But that's our Duker Kickstarter project of the week, and I hope we can find more. They're always quite entertaining.
Speaking of Duker Kickstarters, Omar, you had a chance to try the Battle Royale for Ashes of Creation this week. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, boys. All right, the Ashes of Creation hype wagon for the PC MMORPG. Obviously, the MMORPG was not playable, but they did do a open beta test for 1 day only on Steam for Ashes of Creation, the Battle Royale. And boy, was it bad. All right, it was pretty terrible. In fact, after we played Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, and I thought it was awful. We played Nine Dragons Kung Fu Arena, some like dead Korean MMORPG, Korean Battle Royale game, which is also pretty terrible. But I had more fun playing Nine Dragons Kung Fu Arena than I had playing Ashes of Creation. One, the game just ran like ass. All right, the sweet Unreal Engine just didn't run well. It just felt like really laggy. And I remember my first drop. Right, so it's a Battle Royale game. Obviously, you drop off into the arena. There's this giant, this 8-story building. I land on the roof, right, of the building. And you land on the roof, you look around, and there's no way to get off the roof. They didn't put stairs on the roof of the building to get down. And you just jump down. You jump down, and you land on the floor with 1 HP because you can't die from fall damage, but you get to 1 HP. And I walked around. I found some guy who one-shot me because I was at 1 HP because I had to jump off the goddamn roof. And I'm playing with like 3 other friends, and like, oh, same thing happened to me, bro. I had to jump off this goddamn roof, and I'm at 1 HP. But the core combat doesn't feel rewarding at all. Because it's basically like a kind of like a medieval battle royale game where you find swords, spears, magic. I mean, the concept of doing a battle royale game with spells and magic is kind of cool, but it's executed so poorly. There's actually another battle royale game trying to do what they're doing with the whole medieval combat with magic, which is actually pretty awesome. I forgot what it's called though now. They've been doing a few beta tests, and it runs way better, but the name is escaping me right now. But it's just a really, really poorly executed Battle Royale game. It's just a bad Battle Royale game. In fact, it's so bad that when they first released Astro Creation Apocalypse on their own website, there was no 24-hour limit. The game was running forever. You could play whenever you want. But very quickly, people stopped playing it, and you couldn't find matches anymore because everyone stopped playing because it was garbage. Nobody wants to play a garbage Battle Royale game. So they realized, oh shit, no one's playing our game. What do? Let's take it down. So they took it down, and they said, oh, we're going to work on it some more, right? And then they meant to work on it while it was live, but nobody was playing it when it was live. So they took it down, and they started. And they only opened up the servers like once every few weeks on a certain weekend. That way, players can look forward to and maybe fill up the servers on that one day. And that's the reason, guys, they made the Steam version available for only one day. Because if they left it running for 3 days, nobody's gonna play that garbage. Like everyone's gonna play. I played like 5 rounds and I quit because like why would I hurt myself by playing this? It was so bad. The UI is ugly. The game runs like ass. It's just awful, unplayable game. And I hope the MMORPG, if it ever comes out, is nothing like the Battle Royale. If the MMORPG plays, just even the gameplay like the Battle Royale, it's 100% dead on arrival. I'd rather play PUBG. Of course, I'd rather play any other battle. There's this Chinese scam Battle Royale game I'd rather play, and I know it's stealing my data. I'd rather play that than play.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned stealing your data because I think the main reason of doing this whole one-day beta for the Apocalypse version was to harvest emails. Like I made an account for the first time with Astro Creation, and it requires it's on Steam, but it still requires an account with them. So I gave them an email address, and I think they're going to use that now to say, look how many registered people we have as interested in our game.
Ooh,
when they go to investors, when they go to other studios and partners, they're going to say, look, we have X number of people signed up interested to play our game, like 1 million people. So I think they're releasing this
the emails are valuable for them. Yeah,
I think they're just releasing this to harvest emails.
It's so obviously like the game is. They know the game is awful, and that's the reason they only let players play it for one day. And they actually had a very coordinated effort by their zealots to leave positive reviews on the actual page themselves. So if you look at the Astro Creation Apocalypse page on Steam, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I am like a." They have like a program. What's it called? And the Steam reviews themselves, people admit that they're part of like the beta program.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
they're like ambassadors for the game, and they all leave positive reviews. So all the positive reviews came from people that were like invested in the game, where they were already given them lots of money. But the game was just not good. And I can't find the Steam. There we go. Steam page. Can you find the game on Steam anymore, Altai?
No.
Did they remove the game off Steam?
That's funny. Let's see. Wait.
I'm pretty sure the game is off Steam now. Like I can't find the Steam store page for it anymore.
You're right. This is the website. It's down.
Yeah, they took the game off. The Steam page is not even there anymore. Okay, this whole Steam launch, one-day Steam launch, is continuing their process. Nobody wants to play this game for more than a day. It's that bad. It's actually atrocious. Fortunately, it's free to play, so at least they're not taking your money that way.
Well, they got my email, my fake email.
They got your email,
not my real one.
Honestly, it left an even worse taste in my mouth for the PC MMORPG. I mean, the MMORPG has some cool ambitions, but by releasing this nonsense, what's remarkable is they thought the developers behind Apocalypse, they thought they had something here. They put a monetization system in the game already. You could see the cash shop in the one-day open beta. They thought they had something there worth monetizing, but it's not. It's awful. No one's gonna spend money in that game. It's such a terrible game. And by playing that, I have an even more negative view of the PC MMORPG. And I want the PC MMORPG to succeed, but if that's what they got, after all this time since they raised money for the PC MMORPG, all we got is this garbage Battle Royale game. Astro Creation is dead on arrival. It's done, though.
I'm not hopeful, but
I gave them more hope than I gave Chronicles of Valyria and a few of the other ones, only because they raised so much money.
I will say it's still early days for them, though. Remember, Astro Creation came after their Kickstarter came after things like Chronicles of Valyria and Crowfall and Camelot Unchained. So, to be fair to them, they're still they still have 2 years of run rate to catch up in time to Chronicles of Valyria, which by the way is still dead in water. Chronicles of Valyria has nothing, not even a battle royale.
I mean, Kinaris, why are they spending resource on this battle royale than their actual MMO? I mean, I discussed this earlier. It seems to our speculation is they realize, what the hell did we promise? We can't make this MMORPG. This is impossible. We promised so much. We got to pivot. What can we do? What are the kids into these days? Oh, battle royale games, Fortnite. Fuck yeah, let's do that. And they just made it. They whipped together battle royale, and they're hoping it succeeds. They're hoping the battle royale game that they put together kind of does well, and they can focus on that instead. Because I don't think the MMORPG is going to happen.
It should be noted that that's not actually a bad strat. If in principle, if the game was good, because if you notice, guys, Fortnite was actually announced like in 2011 or 10 or something, and then for the first like 5-6 years of its development, it was actually a team survival like tower defense kind of game where zombies attack the 4 players working together, and then it kind of languished in that alpha state for years with no progress, no interest. It was kind of dead in water. And then I guess somebody at Epic had a bright idea to just copy PUBG, and then all of a sudden it became the biggest game in the world. So I actually don't blame these companies for trying this. Astro Creation, I mean, why not try to pivot from MMORPG to battle royale? But here's the problem: it has to be good. It has to be a good game. Fortnite was good. It was fluid. It was smooth, especially compared to PUBG. Whereas Astro Creation is releasing the shittiest battle royale ever, right? And then
it's bad. I'm curious. Anybody in the chat play it? Because when I say it's bad, it is bad. Like I enjoy playing bad games. And I did not enjoy playing Astro Creation. Like I like janky, silly, ridiculous games. I actually wrote my brother and some friends to play Nine Dragons Kung Fu Arena, some bullshit Korean battle royale game that nobody plays. I had more fun with that than I had with Astro Creation Apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm curious what other people's takes are, because I mean, I don't want to be the only one who doesn't like it here. So
yeah, I mean, I want to show you the Steam reviews, because if you took out the Steam reviews that said right at the start, I am an ambassador or part of the Zealot program for Astro Creation, blah blah blah, this game is amazing. If you took out those guys and look at the other reviews, everyone's like, this is terrible. This was not like a unique opinion by me. It has some pretty strong dislikes on Steam outside of the hardcore Zealots. And they took down the Steam page.
Yeah, that is weird. I mean, that is weird.
Mm-hmm. I didn't expect this. The Steam page was up last time I checked, but now it's down. And it's remarkable to me that a lot of people are still defending the studio, Intrepid Studios. It just seems like they could do no wrong. I mean, I think if you were looking forward to playing an MMORPG, this battle royale game is a slap on the face. I mean, it's taking away the people working on the battle royale game are not working on the game that they raised money from Kickstarter for. So I think you're right to be upset about it. I'm not saying the company can't do that. I mean, once you give them the money, it's their money. I mean, Intrepid Studios is perfectly, legally in the right to do whatever they want with their money and work at whatever game they want. But as a customer, you do have a right to feel upset or feel scammed. Yeah, stay away from these Kickstarter games, boys. We've been warning you guys about, Chronicles of Lyria, Astro Creation, Star Citizen for quite a long time.
Indeed. I actually I've been on the story about BioWare actually. Mm-hmm. Kind of in the same depressing vein here of dashed hopes, perhaps. BioWare had 2 big people leave this week, or the last 2 weeks. The head guy for Anthem, lead producer for Anthem, left, and so did the Dragon Age senior producer. They both left the company, and this kind of leaves, I think, BioWare in a really bad, precarious state. Anthem is a disaster, total dumpster fire. We don't have any hard numbers because it's not on Steam or anything, but the only number we have is Xbox has a list, of their top 40 most popular games, concurrent players at the time, and Anthem is not on the list. Anthem is below like nonsense games like the COD from like 2 years ago. It's behind, so it's basically got nobody playing on Xbox, which again is not the full story. We don't have the full story, but I suspect it's also just floundering on every platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think BioWare itself is in danger of being shut down. Maybe it's still a couple years out, but I think
Anthem. Is there any hope for that game?
No, Anthem is like, I think should get scrapped, but I think Anthem will drag down the rest of the studio.
Mm-hmm. Oof, Anthem was a huge flop.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Age 4, that'd be nice.
Wow, you're enjoying it, Nomios.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's quite on sale right now. I think I bought it for $60 feels ripped off, but maybe for $10-15 it's a good deal.
So here is if anybody has the numbers for Anthem for PC or PlayStation, let me know. I don't have a good way of looking at it, but if you look at Xbox here on Microsoft.com, most played games. So Fortnite's number 1, Grand Theft Auto, all predictable stuff. Destiny's doing okay. PUBG's great. Scroll down here. See if did Anthem crack this. No Anthem. So Anthem is behind DayZ, Borderlands 2. It's behind Halo, the Master Chief Collection. It's behind Call of Duty. Okay, there are less people playing Anthem on Xbox than Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which is an Xbox 360 game.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive. All right, let's turn our attention to another MMORPG doing some interesting things. We have a new buy-to-play server for Arcade Unchained. Have you heard of it?
Yes, yes. There was a big announcement. They teased it for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and now it is coming out. Kind of similar to the classic stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, not classic, but it is interesting that they took an existing game. I mean, Arcade already has its current free-to-play server up to date. They have a progression server going, and now there's a kind of a third iteration of the game, a third server for the game, and they're launching as a buy-to-play server where you can where there's a fixed cap on everyone has the same cap of 5,000 labor points and the same amount of labor point regeneration, and you can't pay for more. And one of the biggest criticisms for Arcade since launch was the ability to pay for extra labor points and stuff and pay for advantages. And they're promising that this new buy-to-play server won't have any of that stuff, and the cash out will be purely cosmetic and non-gameplay altering stuff. And in principle, it sounds really cool because that was and has always been one of the biggest criticisms for Arcade. And I'm curious what the pricing will be for Arcade Unchained. See if there's people come back and play it now. We don't have any kind of pricing or release information yet. We know it's coming later this fall.
I think it'll do well. I think there's a lot of people. Somehow this game still has a lot of pent up demand. I see people talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I never actually got into Arcade. I mean, I played it when it first came out a little bit in beta with you, but we never really got invested in it.
Oh no! People are saying it's not Tryon, it's GameAgo. Tryon is owned by GameAgo.
Yeah.
So there is no distinction between Tryon and GameAgo. It's the same company. All right. So they try to pull a switcheroo on you. They're hoping you don't really notice. Tryon as a company, it's the same company. It's the same.
It's the same folks. It's not like they fired everybody. They're keeping some of the.
Yeah. They kept some people. So it's generally the same kind of people. They're pulling a bit of a switcheroo. Trying to kind of better image. I mean, also, I don't think it's fair to say, they could still run this server well. Even if the Tryon folks completely screwed up the free-to-play version of Arcade, if the business model is different for Unchained, they could still run it well, So I'm not going to say like, oh, it's permanently cursed and plagued to be a failure because those guys are associated with it, It's a rebranding thing. It's run by GameAgo. I imagine a lot of the same guys that worked on the Tryon are moved over to GameAgo and are still running it. We don't know the pricing yet. They haven't announced what it is yet. It should be launching sometime this fall, so in the next month or two, and we'll find out probably the next couple weeks. It'll be coexisting with the free-to-play version as well as the progression version, which is still running. And this version will be buy-to-play. You cannot transfer certain characters into the server. It's a whole new experience. You got to start over from scratch. And I think a lot of people will give it a try. Again, non-pay-to-win Arcade sounds good, but it's always everyone's worried that in the back of their mind they're gonna tweak the cash shop, once the money dries up to be more pay to win. Good points, then, Exalis. If they would have went full sub, maybe would have been playing it. I do think the subscription model, like players don't like paying subscriptions in general, but the most hardcore players I think prefer subscription because when you pay a subscription, you generally have a good idea. From all the other subscription-based MMORPGs, there's an expectation that they can keep making money off you. When you have a buy-to-play game where everyone buys the game up front, it's very hard to get a revenue stream that continues in perpetuity. You make all your money up front, and then the money dries up. What do? People aren't really buying skins like crazy or cosmetics. At that point, you're tempted to go for pay to win stuff with the cash up to get more revenue somehow. But when you have a subscription, you keep funding the game's development forever. Basically, there's an incentive to keep the game going. The incentive is to keep making the game good. Incentives change when there's no more money coming in. If there's no more money coming in, you got to make more money. Like if you're a developer at Arcade Unchained and you have a buy-to-play model, if you add all this cool new content and you're not charging for it, what's the point? You get nothing out of it. You want to make more money. So the subscription model, I think, makes a lot more sense for a lot of these games. Buy-to-play, I think, has some serious issues, unless you can keep selling new DLCs or new expansion. I agree. It shouldn't be $15 a month. But if they had a server that's maybe like $5 a month, I think a lot of games, could benefit from that. Yeah. It's Arcade Unchained, boys.
Well, it's a game I'm looking forward to playing, but it might be a while until I actually play it. And that is Orcs Must Die 3 or more. Did you hear about this?
I thought the Orcs Must Die studio got shut down or something.
It basically would have got shut down. They had no money left. But you know who saved them? Google Stadia.
Really?
Google just came and said, listen, we like your games. Make it a timed exclusive on Stadia, and we'll just fund it.
Wow.
So that's what's happening. So people in the comments here are going kind of crazy, loco about, it's Google Stadia. I'm never going to play it now. But relax. First of all, it's a timed exclusive, so it will come out on non-Stadia stuff. And again, it would not exist without Stadia. So I think that's just take it.
Yeah, I think the hate towards Stadia is a bit too strong. You don't have to use it, but I think there's a good value add for a lot of people. I mean, I think most people watching this stream are not going to use Stadia. I'm not going to be using Stadia anytime until the technology gets like infinitely better. I have the big dick gaming PC. I got the peripherals. I got my 144 hertz monitor. Like, we're not the customers. The casuals are the customers. And I think for them, it could be a good value add.
Yeah, I think when we read stuff on Reddit or gaming forums, we're getting a very biased view, a slice of the market, right? I think Google Stadia will do well, and if Stadia itself by Google is not the success story, some company that does all streaming like this will be the way forward. Yesterday we were talking to somebody I think you went to high school with, right? And basically they were a console player for years, and they recently came back to PC, mainly by WoW and stuff. And these people, one of the big things that could keep them away from PC gaming is the investment, right? It costs thousands of dollars to buy a decent PC with the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, the mic, the headset, and it's a big commitment. It's a big investment, and I think a lot of people just aren't making that investment. Canaris has a RTX on. Omar, you have an RTX.
Yeah.
We are not the customer for something like Stadia.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good for gaming in general.
Yes.
Not for us, guys. We don't have to use it, but to bring more people to gaming. So it'd be a net positive.
Also, it should be noted that I think it's gonna be much better for the company. I think the companies want everyone on streaming because it's gonna allow them to control the ping. Imagine everyone's input was the same. It's just normal, standardized. It's gonna allow them to control the money, so there'll be less hackers, there'll be less piracy.
It would stop hacking, which would be amazing. Because you won't be able to interact with the game files if they're all hosted remotely elsewhere. It would fix the hacking issue, and I think for FPS games that'd be a godsend. But the problem is FPS games are the most reliant on the least input lag. They're very twitchy. Every little millisecond counts. But eliminating the hacking would be such a big deal too, because FPS games, even CS:GO is on the high end, has so many hackers. There've been like surveys on like how many players got in Global Elite end up getting banned after like a couple of weeks. Just a staggering amount of hackers in FPS games.
Well, okay. I actually think it'd be good for ping too, especially so imagine in the future when CS:GO, if you want to play ranked, it's only through streaming, you're not local. Because what they could do is they could pick a ping like 150, let's say, right, or 100, whatever.
That's a bit high. 100. Let's say 100.
100
or 80 or something.
Okay. Let's say your ping is 80 to the server, but it's 100. Is the default. What they'll do is they'll just loop you in a circle to make you 100 too, right?
Yeah, they could. That's possible.
So they could actually make it fair, where literally everyone playing is playing at 100 ping. You could be right next to the server. You still at 100 ping because it just loops you. And
equalizing the ping would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So yeah, ping equalization is a big deal. Even at the competitive end, if you have like 20 ping to the server and someone you playing against has 100, that's a big difference.
I think the biggest thing though is eliminating hackers.
Yeah.
And a lot of game, whether hackers can ruin the experience for a lot of people, and you'll know when you play on Stadia or a streaming service that part is controlled. Anyway, we have another game coming out on Steam. Not on Steam. Another MMORPG coming out called Eternal Magic, Altai. We showed this video off earlier, but the trailer got removed because people made fun of how awful the trailer was. Fortunately, some random YouTube channel re-uploaded the trailer, Altai. This game is coming out, I think, in the next couple weeks. Open that volume, listen to that quality voice acting for Eternal Magic. Who is hype for this no-name game?
The lands of Terrasia, until the balance was disrupted.
You showed me this, right, with that Eastern European guy's accent.
And unkind ambitions.
This looks like a beta for
cast
WoW.
their shadow. Hero, your time has come. Awaken. Your destiny lies through a variety of paths. Choose the one for you. Crush the enemies on your own, or force the hordes kneel before your squad. Triumph in PvP battles. Tame the most cute creatures and settle in a dream mansion. Prevent the cataclysm. The future of Terrasia depends on you.
Damn. I am hyped.
Prevent cataclysm. It's a Russian game, Altai. Are you hype?
Oh, I'm super hyped. Is there? I think it's like East European. I don't think it's Russian.
Yeah, but it's honestly, like, real talk, I'm hyped to play, and I bet you anything it's gonna be better than Astro Creation Apocalypse. All right, I'm gonna have more fun playing Eternal Magic than I will playing Astro Creation
It
Apocalypse.
exists, so it has that going for it.
Yeah, the MMORPG for Eternal Magic will be infinitely better than the Astro Creation nonsense. Oh, you missed our rant earlier about Astro Creation, but that game, ooh, that Battle Royale was awful. Bunny lollies, I'm all in. So this is they felt embarrassed by this trailer. They took it down and they put a better one up. So the new trailer is, I think, the same exact like gameplay stuff, but it's voice acted better. So they got like somebody that's like not off Fiverr for $5. They paid a real voice actor, and it's quite a bit better. But I prefer this version. You know, this looks like a Fisher Price World of Warcraft.
Yeah, definitely. They're not even hiding it. They even use the same words like, you know,
Horde,
cataclysm,
yeah.
horde.
Mhm.
They just dropped all the WoW terms.
Yeah, they don't know why like WoW is successful, but so they wanted to use the same terminology, so maybe like they'll get a piece of that action. Yeah, I'm hyped to make it. I'm hyped to do a first look video for Eternal Magic, boys. It's happening. All right,
Nice.
we'll get that OG first look experience as soon as this bad boy comes up.
Speaking of new games, there's actually another version of Ragnarok coming out.
Another version, more
Another
Ragnarok.
Another Ragnarok.
Is it mobile?
It's actually going to be multi-platform. It's an HTML version. It's called Assault! Ragnarok.
Assault!
So here's some graphics, gameplay here, and it kind of looks Fisher Pricey, honestly. Another Fisher Price.
Is it developed by the same people?
It's being
Gravity?
developed by a Chinese studio.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you know.
Gravity is just
Mwah.
whoring itself. Gravity is just like completely slutted out. All right, they made a good game back in the day, and since then they've been licensing the name Ragnarok to literally anyone. You want a piece of that booty? They'll give it to you. All right, they just completely hoed themselves out. Where they're like, there's like 15 Chinese studios working on Ragnarok spin-offs now because Gravity just completely hoed themselves out.
Yeah, there's not much
But-
about it yet, but there you go.
Yeah.
Another.
Yet another. This looks totally like mobile though, browser based. Somebody said it looks HTML5. It looks kind of like that.
It is HTML5. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see what else. Well, there's an RTX trailer for Minecraft tomorrow. Did you see that?
No. I got
So-
another graphical one.
Yeah, this is an official trailer by Nvidia,
Hmm?
and they're showing off Minecraft with RTX off and on. So let's see if we can skip this guy talking. Whoa, look at that, guys! Look at that Minecraft.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Minecraft is kind of a big deal, all right?
So this is off. Oh, it's kind of a big difference if this is real. So if you look at this, off and on.
Whoa. Salta, do you remember what I said my queue was at the start of this podcast?
You said it was 3 hours. You said it was gonna take.
Well, I forget. I said it would take 3 hours. Did they give you a number?
No,
think
you probably
it's
did. I don't
8,000.
remember.
Yeah, I forgot to. But it still says 7,000 in queue.
Wow, so it hasn't made any progress.
Estimated time 3 hours. So
Rip.
for the last hour and 10 minutes, my queue has basically barely moved. I moved maybe 1,500 spots in the queue in the last hour. So I am not gonna be able to get on Vanilla WoW, Classic WoW for, I think, at least from here on another 3 hours.
We're in Crossroads in the Barrens.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm excited to play today. That's on Remo's docket. I've been playing. I played Final Fantasy 14 right when resets happened for my weekly loot. Unfortunately, I didn't get any loot this week, boys. I've rolled a 1 on my weapon coffer, which is what I wanted most this week. Didn't get it.
Don't you get
So
like a
people
token or
said-
something every time you fail, and then
Yeah, I need to get 8. So I have 3 tokens right now, and if I get 8 tokens, I'm fine. I get the weapon I want. Or I just win 1 roll a week, against 7 other people. So if I go another 5 weeks, I can get the weapon without, rolling against anyone. I didn't do Titan normal every week. I want to get my 475 weapon. All right.
did you get any of the gear pieces?
Yeah. I got a bunch of gear pieces, but the weapon is obviously the biggest deal.
Mhm.
I'm missing my chest piece, my hat, my weapon, and I think 2 accessories. I think I got everything else. I don't want no welfare weapon, Canaris. I want the good shit. All right. I'm here for the 475 weapon. I'm hyped for it. And once I get that bad boy, I'll do some more parse runs and other fun stuff. Until then, I'm just playing some classic WoW.
I got one more story. I'm on my favorite subject, Spatial OS, everyone's favorite non-existent engine. A company called Clang, who's making a game called Seed, a sci-fi MMORPG, raised $22 million. And why don't we find some? Is there any videos for this? No videos.
I got a good meme picture for you while you look for a video.
Let's see the memes. What is this? Fairy Lab Parent. All right, when do we get to play the game? This is the game.
The 25,000 person queue. Oof. I like it. Spatial OS should have its own segment. Poor Spatial OS. One day, maybe something will happen. Poor SoftBank, the big Japanese conglomerate, invested like $300 million into Spatial OS like a couple of years ago. That money is all wasted. It's all gone. What a disaster.
So here we go. This is some gameplay, guys, for Seed. All right, this is happening, guys. This is a real Spatial OS game. This is like the 8th time.
These guys raised like $50 million, something crazy.
Yeah. Here we go. Wow, look at this. Amazing.
It's a simulation MMO, apparently. Is it like a more advanced version like SimCity, or is it an actual MMO? I mean, they build it as an MMO. They said it's a simulation game, which is kind of weird because when you think MMO, you don't think simulation game because like, where's the multiplayer,
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. It's an MMO simulation colonization game.
They're trying something different. Again, they've raised like, there's some German company, I think they raised like 50, something crazy. Over $40 million for sure. But this round they raised $22 million, and they raised money before this as well. So to date they raised about $37.4 million. So it's a lot of money, guys, going into Seed. Given that it's Spatial OS, that alone makes you think it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think they're kind of playing with untested technology.
But also, what does that mean to you? A simulation MMO? Like, what am I playing? Am I playing SimCity? Are we playing SimCity like multiplayer? Like 5,000 people playing SimCity on the same world? What's happening here?
I have no idea. My guess is everyone kind of runs their own little planet or something, and then the NPCs run around building stuff for you.
I'm just surprised and bamboozled that they raised like Spatial OS raised like some $300 million from SoftBank. They raised a lot of money.
All right, here we go.
Nothing has really come of it yet.
This is a little briefer here. Seed is an online life simulation where each player manages multiple characters. Set far in the future, players work together to rebuild society and create a new home in a vast world similar to Earth. The simulation is persistent and continuous, meaning that when players are offline, their characters will continue to live in their lives within the simulation. Seed uses Improbable's Spatial OS, a cloud platform that helps simulate a world much larger and richer, and with more players than any single engine or server could. Clang has 44 employees.
Okay, they raised $500 million, I'll tell you. Spatial OS was worth an over $1 billion valuation. That money is all burnt, boys. Nothing has come out of this engine yet. Nothing. Hey, maybe Seed will do it. Who knows? I would not be investing in Seed though. Let me tell you.
They are the chosen one.
I'm still surprised though. Like, how do you just raise like $30 million on this unproven nonsense tech? I guess if it works, it might be amazing, but I just find it remarkable that so many studios can raise money for dubious concepts.
I don't get it. With all this money Spatial OS that's pouring in, why don't they just make a game at least to prove the model? Like, there is literally not one game that actually functions on Spatial OS.
Yeah, at least the developers of Spatial OS made their own game using their own tech. They can show like the world how it works, and they can teach people how to use it. Epic Games makes some of their own games using the Unreal Engine, so they can make their tools more useful for their users.
Is there a better advertisement for the Unreal Engine than Fortnite? Like, look what we can do with this engine, right? Not pay us to license the engine. But why would he go with Spatial OS? It's like they have nothing.
Yeah, it is really bizarre, and I think Fractured. Yes, Fractured also said they were using Spatial OS. That was another Kickstarter-funded ARPG style game. And there's, I think we showed a video a long time ago, but there's not much progress on there yet either. And literally every studio that tried to use it, like the guys that did Worlds of Drift said, like, okay, the Spatial OS stuff, we just couldn't get it to work. The Chronicles of Lyria people said the same thing, like we just couldn't get it to work. It's like it's clearly not easy to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, $500 million is a lot of money, Canaris. I feel like you can buy quite a few MMOs with $500 million. I don't think you can claim. Because here's the difference. Isaiah 12. When the Wright brothers said they could fly, people didn't believe them. They didn't. They went and proved it. But we've seen like a dozen games that said they're going to change the world using Spatial OS, and every single one has flopped, like across the board. This clear, and the only thing in common is this technology, this Spatial OS technology, this improbable engine. That's the problem. It just hasn't worked. They raised 502 million buccarinos. The guys that make Spatial OS. Still amazed that what's Star Citizen up to these days? Star Citizen fundraising. It's always good to look at. Are they up to over 200 million yet?
Yeah, I don't know why we're maybe the post.
233. My bad. They're quite a bit over. Yeah, we should be post game for this.
We're gonna move to post game, and we're gonna trash on Spatial OS a little more. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned.
Take care for YouTube.